Hello, and welcome back to Living Well and Bell Hot Topics. My name is Kolton Spinn, and I will be guiding you today through our next hot topic. Now, this one's quite a large one, so we've dedicated an entire video to it. Now, before we get started, a little bit about myself. Who am I? Why should you listen to me? My name is Kolton Spinn. I have roughly 7 years in the IT field. I have multiple certifications, some that relate to cybersecurity, and I have spent time in the past as a computer teacher, helping others learn more about computers, learn more about security, and ensuring that they are safe. I'm super excited to tell you about all these things, and I really hope that it brings great benefit to you. Let's move on. Today's topic that I'm bringing forward is about phishing. Now, I'm not talking about fly fishing or fishing for bass or fishing for some huge tuna out in the sea. I'm talking about phishing for information. Okay, phishing is the fraudulent attempt to obtain sensitive information or data, such as your username, your password, your credit card, a social security number, and they do this by disguising themselves as a trustworthy entity in an electronic communication. This is typically carried out either via an email, an instant message, a text message, or by a call. So let's kind of dive into this. The first type of phishing I want to talk to you guys about specifically is calls. Now, what am I talking about when I say getting phished in a call? When you get a call from someone acting as someone else that's trying to gather your information, whether it be a password, a social security number, access to your bank account, that's what I'm talking about. So let's kind of go over some of the things that you can do to protect yourself and be sure that you are safe. Number one, don't always trust your caller ID. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten a call that says, from Temple, Texas. It gives me a legitimate Temple, Texas number, and it sounds like it's some guy from a different country. It happens all the time. Don't always trust your caller ID. It's not going to be correct. They can make it look like whatever they want to make it look like for you guys. Now that we've got it out of the way that you don't always need to trust your caller ID, let's talk about some known fraudulent calls. The first one is my favorite, the reward calls. Unfortunately, in this time of COVID, you are not going to win a vacation to Jamaica. They're not going to put you on a cruise ship. They're not going to give you a couple $100s to do a survey. It's just not going to happen. These reward calls, as soon as you hear them talking, you are welcome to hang up on them. The next one is, of course, a huge one, the IRS. The IRS will never contact you. The only way that the IRS will ever contact you if they ever have any issues with your taxes is going to be by mail. They just won't call you. They just don't have enough manpower to call everyone. Next, let's talk about your bank. This is another big one. Most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, your bank is not going to call you. If you get a call from someone saying that they are a part of your bank or a bank close to your bank, that they are trying to give you money or they're trying to take money, what I would suggest is immediately hanging up and just directly calling your bank. If you are the one to initiate that call, you will know that you are, of course, talking to your bank. The other big thing to worry about there, and this is not just bank calls, this is all calls. If they are trying to gather information from you, if they are asking for your social security number, if they're asking for passwords and usernames, immediately hang up the call. No one should ever ask for that information unless you call them directly. Another great one is, of course, Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance companies. I lump all these together because they're all the same. Just like I said on the bank calling information, if you get a call from a company that states that they are, Medicaid, Medicare, or your insurance company, and they're asking you for information, I would be very, very suspicious of that. I would hang up the phone and I would just call them directly. Hey, why am I getting a call? Why are they asking me for my username and password? Why are they asking me for my social security number? These are things that are not typical for you to be asked on the phone from a call. And last but not least, let's talk about a call from Microsoft or a technical support call. I can 100% guarantee you that Microsoft will never call you and tell you you have a virus. Likewise with any other technical support, they will never call you. They do not know if you have a virus on your machine. They do not have access to your machine. They just will not reach out to you. These are all phishing attempts in order to gain access to your computer. What happens is they call and they say, "Hello, I'm with Microsoft. We know you have a virus. Let me have access to your machine so that I can remove that virus." Well, that's not exactly right. They are just trying to gain access to your machine, which in turn may have access to your bank, which may have access to your files, your pictures, things that you don't want to lose and you don't want to get deleted. So be very, very careful with when you're answering the phone call. Make sure that you know it's from a trusted caller. If they start asking questions and gathering information, I would be very, very cautious. If you are afraid that there is a fraudulent call happening, you can hang up the phone and you can call whatever company they're calling from directly. They will tell you whether or not it is a real call or a fake call. Do not be afraid to hang that phone up. Next up, let's talk about phishing via email. So, I kind of want to go over a couple of things and then I want to show you an example of an email that is a phishing attempt, and it is a very good phishing attempt. So I'm going to kind of go over these and then we will look at an email and give you a great example. There's quite a few things that you can look at to determine if an email is fraudulent or if it is real. Let's go over a few of those things. First of all, when opening an email, who is the sender? Is this someone you know? Is their name spelled correctly? Does the email address look right? Is it Kolton Spinn from ygmail.com? That looks a little suspicious. So just be very, very cautious of when you're opening emails. Make sure to check out who it's from. That will tell you a lot of times if the email is fraudulent or if it's real. Next, were you expecting this piece of email? We get a lot of spam every single day, and for the most part, our carriers, not USPS, but our email carriers, sort that spam out and delete it for you or automatically put it in the junk. But there is time when you will get an email into your inbox that you just aren't sure about. If you look through and you say, "Hey, sender's not right," what you can do is send that to your junk mail, and what happens is your provider says, "Hey, this guy doesn't want to receive these kind of emails. I'm not going to let him get to his inbox anymore." So that way, you're curating your email inbox to bring you things that you want to see and not junk email. Third, does the email have an attachment that it wants you to open? Usually when you get emails with attachment, you know that they're coming. Say Jimmy's mom sends you an email about a church function. Okay, great. Feel free to open that attachment. That's awesome. Now, what if you get an email from someone you don't know or some service that you are not sure of? Should you open that email? Absolutely not. Do not open that link. Don't run that link. If it's specifically asking you to do something with that link, my advice would be to contact the company. If it's something that you're not aware of and you are for sure that this is a junk email, go ahead and send it to your junk and let your spam filter take care of that. These last two I want to talk about kind of together. I have listed them separately, although they're relatively the same, but I do want to hit this point really hard. It's about links inside of emails. The first point there says, is a sender asking you to log into an account with a link provided. The only time you're ever going to get an email regarding anything about logging in is if you request it. If you request a password reset, if you say, "Hey, I need to be able to access my account," you will probably get an email with a link inside of it that will take you to reset your password. And that's okay. That's great. My advice to you is to be cautious of links inside of emails. Unless you specifically requested an email that you know is coming to you for a password reset or for any other reason, I would be very careful of clicking any links that might take you to an alternative web page. The next slide is going to show a great example of an email that is, it looks exactly like what you would get from PayPal when you request a password reset. However, this person did not request a password reset. Let's go to that slide and let's review it. Okay, so first things first. My first suggestion is to always look at who the email is from. So if we go up to the top of this email, you'll see it's from PayPal at notice-access-273.com. That is not correct. Any email that you're going to get from anyone will always have the website name after the @ sign. So just rule this one out. If you just got an email just like this and you said, hey, what's the deal? This looks super official. It is not. It is absolutely a spam email and is one that gets people all the time. The rest of the email looks great. It looks exactly like it should. And I promise you that if you click that login link, it would take you to an alternate website that looks almost identical to the way PayPal looks. But and I know now at this point that is not PayPal. They are just harvesting your username and your password, and they'll use it to log in as you and to take money from you. So we have to be very, very cautious over all these emails that we get. Definitely make sure that any email you get, you're either expecting it, you know who it's from. Be very, very cautious with the emails that you receive requesting for you to log in. Lastly, let's talk about text messaging. Now, I had not personally gotten a message in a long time, but coincidentally, last week I received one from USPS. Now, I'm not shipping anything through USPS right now, but I got a message that says, hey, go ahead and log in. We need you to come pick up a box. I'm not expecting anything. So I thought that this would be a great topic to bring forward to you guys, because if I'm getting those messages, you guys are going to be getting those messages. So let's go through the bullet points. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we think here. So the first bullet point there is the text message asking for your personal information. Let's give an example here. My example is great. USPS was wanting me to log in, input my information, and I would receive a package. Okay, well, I know that I'm not waiting for a package. So what they're trying to do is to get my username and password. Classic example. The second example, if you receive a verification code via text and you did not request it on a website, please keep that to yourself. Don't give it out to anyone. If you know which website sent that code, my advice would be to go ahead and change your password on that website. Third, you're a winner. Okay, you won another great Jamaican cruise ship in the middle of the COVID. Number one, you probably don't need to go on that cruise because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Number two, you didn't win, unfortunately. I hate to tell you that. And number three, you can just ignore that message. You will not ever win anything through a text message. That kind of goes into my last point. Usually, if you're winning a vacation, a trip to Bora Bora or anything like that, they're going to send a link in that message. Now, I've gone over this before with emails. Unfortunately, or fortunately for you, we don't have to worry about that in calls because there's no clicking links in calls. But text message is the same thing. If you get a link in a text message, be very, very wary of it. I always advise you to delete those messages unless you were expecting it. Congratulations! You've won a $1,000 Walmart gift card. Go to the link to claim now. Delete that. Do not go to that link. Do not give them any information. It may not seem like it's a lot of information that they're asking for, but I promise you that once you fill it out, they're going to do stuff with that information that you gave them. Stuff that you don't even know about, and stuff that, we don't want you to have to worry about. So just go ahead and ignore those, delete those when they come in, and block them if you can. Thank you for listening to this session over phishing. I wish that we were fly fishing instead of talking about phishing, but that's okay. It's important that you guys are safe, so please be very careful of all the emails you receive, the calls you receive, the text messages. Just be safe in general, guys. We want you guys to be safe. That's why we put these out here. Go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe if you can. Other than that, stay tuned. We have another session coming out. Thank you.